Madam Vice President of the Human Rights Council, Madam Deputy High Commissioner, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. It's an honor to address the opening of this 55th session of the Human Rights Council. I want to express my appreciation to the work of Volker Türk, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, as well as the persons involved in UN human rights mechanisms. I am grateful for their tireless advocacy and unwavering commitment to human rights. The UN mechanisms remain a powerful tool in our unrelenting pursuit of a world where human rights are universally respected and protected. We must continue this pursuit, especially now, as the world is struggling with a convergence of crises, the outbreak of armed conflicts, the rise of authoritarianism, humanitarian emergencies, climate change, growing inequities, and poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most drastic cases is the full scale of Russian aggression on Ukraine, which erupted 2 years ago. Not only has it crushed the fundamental rights and freedoms of the Ukrainian citizens, but also undermined the very principles upon which this Council was founded. The world must acknowledge the utter truth. Russia's aggression and its disregard for international law extends beyond local concerns. It's a global issue. Its tragic repercussions resonate in other regions of the world, making no one immune to the threat. This situation still calls for our urgent and decisive action, including in the domain of human rights. For this reason, Poland will continue to work with our partners to strengthen the UN mechanisms to monitor and report on human rights situation in Russia and to ensure accountability with respect to the crime of aggression against Ukraine. We will also be working on the human rights situation in Belarus, where crackdowns on dissent, violations of freedom of expression and assembly, as well as attacks on independent media and civil society are as widespread as in Russia. The recent death of Alexei Navalny reminds us starkly what is at stake of our actions. We must continue to remind everyone that there are so many other activists and human rights defenders whose lives are threatened in prisons or penal colonies in both Russia and Belarus. Let me mention just a few: Vladimir Kara-Murza, Yuri Dmitriev, Alexei Gorinov, Andrei Pivovarov, Ilya Yashin, they are all in Russia, and Andrzej Poczobut in Belarus. Only last week we heard about the death of Ihar Lednik, Belarusian civil activists. We must not stop our efforts until they are released and those responsible for their imprisonment are brought to justice. At the same time, we cannot turn a blind eye on those in most vulnerable situations in other parts of the world. Their voices must be heard and their rights need to be protected. Civilians, including children, continue to be targeted, attacked, abused, and killed at an unprecedented scale in Gaza, Syria, Myanmar, and many other places. It is our responsibility to ensure that these atrocities stop and their perpetrators are held accountable. The Human Rights Council has a vital role to play here. We, the UN members, must be involved in the Council's work. It is also our role to assure its independence, strength, and efficiency. This calls for political will, but also sufficient funding. It also requires our commitment to multilateralism. Our determination will matter. Thank you very much.